Ain't that something? Right here in Charlottesville. Robert don't go nowhere. And I'm gonna use a double negative, fellas. Ain't that something? That's where it starts. And let me demonstrate a tremendous canyon of difference, a wonderful canyon of difference. So-called European classical music starts its form with the so-called Gregorian chant, named after Pope Gregory. He dispatched some ambassadors to find out what the people were singing in the so-called Christian church. And so they come back and then he says, or they say to him that people are singing basically melodies like this. And then a few hundred years later, someone says, why don't we add some harmony? This is in the Middle Ages, roughly the fall of the Roman Empire, 476 to the beginning of the Renaissance, roughly 1400 that is. And so in that middle period, the medieval ages, the Middle Ages, this kind of music is beginning with solemnity and exactitude. No bending notes. Exactitude. It's then 100 or 200 years later, someone says, why don't we add some harmony? The word harmony means together. So someone says, let's go down 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they start doing their harmony in parallel motion. That is, if the singer goes up, the harmony goes up. If the singer goes down, the harmony goes down. So it sounds something like this. And then later on, someone says, hey, rather than go in the same direction, why don't we go in contrary motion? Singers will go out or they'll go in. So you have something like this. Out, in. And it's that kind of solemnity and exactitude that gives way to the beautiful, ineffable music of Arinsky to Zemlinsky, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, Chopin, Schubert, etc. And let me just demonstrate. The major scale, if I were to harmonize that in a classical way, it would sound, maybe in the style of Bach, something like this. Now remember, I'm going to play this scale with my little finger, and I'm going to add some low notes down here. But listen at the top, you'll hear the major scale played with that solemnity and exactitude that began with the Gregorian chant. I'm going to come down and simply the scale. Wow. Amazing. That beauty and exactitude and solemnity, contrition, that's coming out of that experience. Now, let me give you one example, or further example, of that exactitude and solemnity that we might hear in a wonderful 20th century piece by Samuel Barber called Adagio for Strings. And there's a recent book called The Saddest Piece of Music Ever Written. And it's still carrying that spirit into the 20th century. It starts with a single note. And this was the soundtrack for both Platoon and Elephant Man.
Samuel Barber.
Just take it to the climax. that's not going to be surpassed. And that is a most crystalline exemplification of the exactitude and solemnity that grew out of that music. In other words, if we go back to the beginning of the Gregorian chant in the so-called Christian church, what we have is people basically, they're thinking about the death, the terrible crucifixion of Yeshua, Jesus. And so they're coming to this music with that kind of contrition. All right, so what's the difference? Here we've got coming from primordial Homo sapiens, human beings, not only singing, spiritual, speaking, but also a sensual quality. It isn't necessarily mood, it's about the freedom of psychiatry. I've been playing in the church, in the African American church for 30 years, and it's unbelievable in my own experience just to let things out, to shout. And so what we've got is a combination of that exactitude and solemnity and expression with bends. Let me show you this quickly. Let's take perhaps the most popular American classic song. Well, you know what it is. That would be the most popular song ever written. Happy birthday. We'll argue that later. Would you leave the comment to me? Thank you very much. In any case, here it is. But listen, I'm going to play it with solemnity and exactitude, but I'm going to bend some notes. So now we're combining, and this is what gives way to this incredible, unique American art form. And new chords. Bends. numberless times. I never, ever tire of it. I get teary every time I'm sitting at home by myself and play. I go, wow, what a great song. And if you don't know this, of course, wherever you find genius, you find it surrounded by a confederacy of dunces. John Donne. That song was written for The Wizard of Oz, and the director said, nix, I don't like it. It's too sentimental. What? Oh yeah, Harold Arlen, who wrote it, had to fight to get it in the film, and yet the film is centered on that tune, is it not? It revolves around that piece of music. So just be aware, I'm sure you are, where we live. Whenever you have a new, brilliant idea, you're going to be surrounded by, oh, that stinks, I don't like that. Like E equals MC squared. We'll talk about that later. So there you have a very, very simple contrast between this music that's got bends and slurs and great sensuality and psychiatry, psychiatric release. Yet we had this exactitude and solemnity that we also inherited from the Gregorian chant.